Basically, at the end of the Second Congo War, right, in 2003, the killings, the violence, the conflict, right, in Congo never really stopped, right? This conflict and violence was mostly perpetuated by militia groups or armed groups which sprang up for various reasons and that had different objectives and goals in mind, right? For example, you had militia groups which were developed purely to protect the ethnic Congolese that you find in the eastern parts of the Congo, right? Uh, their objective was purely to protect the locals, right? There are other militia groups which developed, which had a more political incline or political objective to them, which were linked to various governments around the region, right? Particularly, some had links with the Congo, Kinshasa government, some had links with Rwanda, and some had links with Uganda, right? To be specific, or for example, there's this specific militia group which developed that is known as the RCD, right? Which stands for Rally for a Congolese Democracy, right? This one was specifically developed and sponsored by Rwanda and Uganda. At some point, this RCD militia split into two, right? One, basically, it was a RCD Goma group, right? And RCD KML, right? Which were somehow fought between the two regional forces, the Uganda and Rwanda, right? So there are a lot of examples of this sort of groups. Other militia groups which developed were purely of an economic purpose, right? To secure certain minerals, right? So that they can sell them in the international world. Now, it is recorded that over 100 militias, right, or armed group operated in the eastern parts of Congo. So it was mostly because of these militia groups that existed in the eastern parts of Congo, right? Some found refuge in Uganda or Uganda and Rwanda, right? But mostly the chaos and the killings and the basic conflict that you see in Congo today that never really stopped from the Second Congo War, right, is these militia groups. The FDLR is fundamentally a Hutu militia or armed group that was started by the perpetrators of the Rwandan genocide in 1994. It mostly operates in the eastern parts of the Congo. The Mai Mai is basically a number of local militias or armed groups, right, which are fundamentally Congolese, right? They operate particularly in the eastern parts of Congo, right, in an area known as North Kivu and South Kivu. Now, the Mai Mai were developed or were created for the sole purpose of defending the local population against the various incursions that particularly came from Rwanda and Uganda. Now, when you look at the distance between Kinshasa, right, the capital city of the DRC, right, it's about 2,000 kilometers away from the far eastern parts of Congo, particularly North Kivu and South Kivu, right? So the government doesn't really have much influence or dominance in the eastern parts of Congo. That's why the Mai Mai sprang up as a local militia group that will defend itself against certain incursions that tend to come from the Rwandians and the Ugandans.